Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to team meeting number 58. We have no classes to mention this. New classes to mention this week. We do have some classes which are coming up. We're going to be pitching at the Startup Study Group on Thursday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You're welcome to look. We'll also post a link so you can watch the live feed. We've launched incentives, and we're going to show the whole process of how you get through it. There'll be some website changes. Lynda Kaiser classes are available, and we're going to be discussing some of the preloading of Oplerno template courses with Oplerno template. I think that Rob is going to discuss that, and of course, one of the most important things for people who are faculty members is that we're going to be moving email servers. We'll be mentioning that as well. But pitching at the Startup Study Group on Thursday, Rob?
Yeah, this Thursday, and we'll have a link to the YouTube channel where you can check it out. But there's a really interesting community that's developed over the past several months called Startup Study Group, and you can look for it online. It's a collection of founders, funders, and other interested parties, and it's really run by an amazing guy named Charles Joe, and it's on Slack, and we've been asked to participate in the pitch this Thursday, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's a what they call a pitch practice, where what you do is you go over 10-15 slides in the course of 15 minutes and answer questions by a group of interested parties, investors, and also people with a high-tech startup experience. And we'll be there again on Thursday at 12 noon. So please check us out, and you can view it, of course, on YouTube or online. And also check out Startup Study Group. We've had Daniel and I have really enjoyed our time talking with people about all kinds of different issues in education, financing, and also just generally the whole startup community, which is really, really vibrant, especially for these places that are popping up online using really interesting social media. And Slack is one of those amazing things that is bringing people together to communicate in a way very, very different from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and some other places. So again, check us out Thursday, 12 p.m., and we hope to see you there.
Yeah, Slack is, of course, their use of Slack and our contact with them was one of the reasons why we also started the faculty Slack channel, also, so that there would be a place for faculty members to interact. So if you already have the Slack client, then it's even easier for you to hook into the Startup Study Group. Very nice.
So let's go to the next piece, which is talking about incentives.
Yes.
So as you know, last week or the last couple of weeks, we've announced the fact that we're starting an incentive program, and so Daniel has been working really hard, and also Sujin, on the integration of this, and I'll turn it over to them so that they can explain and walk through how this process is going to work as we beta test it in the market. Yeah.
As we said, we recently launched the incentives. So, sorry, as Rob said, we recently launched incentives. Incentives is going to be a program for people so they can invite friends or relatives, or invite people to take part in courses that they think are interesting, or they could think that could be valuable for them. Part of the incentive program is also to incentivize people to invite people. So we offer a person who invites somebody $50 reduction on their next course that they want to take, and we give the person who on any course that they want to take, and then we give the person who's being invited also a $50 credit on the course. Sadly, this is not available in the United States, but I would say, for the rest of the world, this is available. In the United States, you just get kudos. The the process is relatively simple. I'm going to just get the my.
While you pull that up, I'll just explain a little bit about the differentiation with the people in the U.S. and the people outside the U.S. So in the United States, there's some federal. There's Section 487A of the Higher Education Act, which prohibits any institution in the United States from providing incentive compensation to employees or third-party entities based on the recruitment of U.S. citizens or people residing in the United States. So, in other words, you can't pay people to, we can't offer this program to a United States citizen who recruits a U.S. citizen to take a class. So we can't offer that discount. That is not legal. However, if you are outside the United States, you can participate, and U.S. citizens can participate in terms of recruiting people outside the U.S. to take a particular class and referring them to our system. But and of course, if you're outside the U.S., you can, refer any groups of people that you would like, just so long as they're not Americans. But we're based in Vermont, and so we have to, and based in the United States, we have to follow the laws and regulations here in the U.S. So U.S. citizens can't participate in this ability to lower your tuition costs and also take free classes. Daniel's, yep, the Recruit a Student program. If you could go back to that previous page.
Okay.
Just for a second. Yep.
I'll present everybody.
Okay, so here, I'll stop yakking.
Oh no, you can present. If you can also talk through talk through it.
Okay. Why don't you basically what I went over? Why don't you go through the whole process? While you were pulling it up.
Yep. Yeah. Well,
about these 3 points.
The whole process is reasonably simple. We have whether you're logged in or you're not logged in, we have a nice refer a friend button at the top, so you can send somebody a link. If you click on that, then you're asked, are you a U.S. national, or whether you or just to accept. If you're a U.S. national, of course, the incentives, as Rob explained, don't entirely apply to you unless you're recruiting students outside the United States. I'm not a U.S. national, so I can just click accept. And here you have you then get a link which doesn't seem to be correctly aligned for this browser for some reason. But you get a link and that you can send. Now I was at the NextWeb recently, so I was spreading out a NextWeb link. But you get a link which you can click on, and it will basically send you to a page where a new user can claim their free class. It has almost exactly the same information as the previous the previous page where you have to accept if you're a U.S. national. This is explains it to you in who's eligible and who's not to receive the incentives or the rebate. You fill in the email. The new user fills in the email address. So Bob at it accepts, and it will create a user for them, and credit them with this $50 on their account.
Now, a U.S. citizen can, of course, receive a credit in terms of a $50 discount. Okay, but we cannot give you a credit for recruiting that student. That's a really important, an important piece to remember.
Yeah, unless the student, of course, are not a U.S. national.
Correct.
Outside the United States, you're free to recruit anybody you want to. I mean, as long as you believe that they can actually do it. They can actually do the course. We really want people to be able to invite people who are technically able and have the knowledge to be able to complete what their course is.
We're going to be sending out a email to all faculty and also updating our website to talk about this program, but we wanted you guys who are taking a look at the Google Hangout and watching our monthly meetings our weekly meetings, team meetings, to get a chance to check it out first.
Indeed. Cool. So,
just a quick thing, why are we doing this? This is one of the ways in which we can energize people to be building our community and creating more opportunity both for students to lower their costs for their tuition and also to increase our student enrollment base. And part of this is a strategy that's used by all kinds of different startups to grow their community, and we want to do the same thing. Okay, why don't we move on to Sujin? Can you show everybody some of the website changes that you've been working really hard on, and they're awesome. So let's go to that.
All right, so let me first log into Squarespace because some of this is still a work in progress.
If you want, you can just show them the stuff that's on Oplerno right now that you've published, either or, your choice.
Okay. So let's get the Oplerno website up. And since we're on the home page, let me go ahead and share my screen here. I know there's a way to do this there. Oh, there's the share screen button. Okay. Share. Okay, so this might look familiar. It is a newer version of the home page than what was originally here a few months ago. And what I'm currently working on is, you see this I want to learn search bar right here? I want that to be here in this highlighted part. And it will, one, look a little more like other higher educational sites that have a search that invites students to say, okay, well, what do I want to learn anyway? And it would also pull this I want to learn right there in that prominent area. There are a couple of challenges in doing this because of the way the website is structured, but I think it is doable. And I also want to act on another thing that Dan pointed out, is that this I want to learn is not really obvious that you can type into. So I haven't added a border or anything here yet just because I want to move everything down here. But if you've been weeks, this might look a little familiar. There's now a semi-live ticker that probably needs to be updated. It doesn't update automatically. We'll be updating it on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. And then, why you would want to use Oplerno in the first place. And then places for faculty members and companies who want to teach a course or train their team or just about anything else. And then the footer, there are just a few minor changes. Probably something that you would notice only if you were visiting the website on a daily basis. Now, you might know these.
it doesn't seem to be scrolling, Sujin. Is that correct?
Done. Mostly things. It is now in the top bar. I would like to make, but besides that, we have new company page. Faculty page is my current project, which for some reason is not loading. And students. So Rob wrote a lot of copy for a new version of the student page, and one of the things I'm doing is condensing that to something that is useful. No offense, Rob. And there are a couple more things I would like to add, like the incentive program, which may actually get its own page.
Okay,
and I
great.
think those are the biggest things. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really like the counter on the home page. We're going to be providing a lot more data about how many courses we've got, the certificates, the faculty count. The courses that are listed are the courses that have already been approved by us and are completed. Of course, we've got, when you go on to the Marketplace program, you see that there are tons of classes that faculty are still developing, but we didn't want to count those. We just want to count those completed courses, in addition to, again, certificates and then our total faculty count. If you go on the faculty page, we're also going to be moving the map, which is really, really interesting, that shows the location of all the faculty, and we're going to be including locations of students and also locations of different companies or institutions that we have created some affiliations with. Again, all to give you guys more information about how the network is growing. As you know, with the startup, getting initial traction going, as Peter Thiel says, from 0 to 1 is really, really tricky. And that's what, myself, Michael Lee, and Daniel, what we're spending a lot of time on is meeting with companies and groups and talking with them and bringing them on board to be part of this ecosystem that we're creating. And all of that is going to cause massive changes in the website and how we communicate and deal with both faculty and students. So it's pretty exciting, and in the next couple of weeks we'll have an update when we have a little bit more time on that whole process. So great. Thanks a lot, Sujin. I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of the changes with that website. That's going to be great.
Yeah. Another thing, it feels like, to me, since I've been working on this a lot, all these changes feel like small changes, but they do add up.
Oh yeah, they're small changes, but they take a long time, especially since we're trying to also improve that user acquisition in the pipeline, making things easier. Just the fact that Daniel has created the automatic cart system, well, that is just a click of one button. There's a ton of stuff that goes on to, instead of a click of one button, 4 or 5 different steps, okay, that used to have to be manually done to do something, the incentive program, and all of that. So small changes usually mean, like you said, huge back-end work, and you guys are really working hard and doing a really good job of getting that out. Yeah, things are improving, and that's great.
Yeah, and by the way,
go ahead.
Oplerno.com, and I will do my best to implement those things.
Oh, yeah, you cut out there a second, so I think that you were saying that you send all your information to info@oplerno.com, and you'll...
Yeah, Yeah, I think our audio is cutting out a little bit, or something's happening with our feed. Let's go to Dan, Lynda Kaiser's classes, what's available, and all of that piece.
All right, so Lynda Kaiser will be teaching two series of courses for folks who are teaching. One is Oplerno Online Teaching Basics, which they're all 2 weeks. They're all $150. 2 of them start today, and those are the ones I'm going to highlight, and I'll mention the other 2. Essentially, this course, the Online Teaching Basics, gives you the techniques and approaches to help you become an effective educator online. Maybe taking some of what folks might be used to doing in the classroom or in hybrid style classes and shifting your pedagogy and approach to being an effective online instructor. And the other course beginning today is Online Course Design Basics, and this is more of a technical angle for folks who might have an idea already of how they'll approach online teaching but want a crash course in everything from what we're doing here, like Google Hangouts and live synchronous activities, all the way through to, customizing your Canvas course to kind of be your brand, your feel. I mean, it's essentially your classroom, and you want that learning space to be inviting and comfortable for students. So those are both available. We'll post links to those after the meeting, and they are also, I posted them in Canvas in the Oplerno instructors group, which all instructors are a member of, and they were in the faculty update email last week, or the end of the previous week, whenever we sent that out. So those are beginning today. They're $150. Lynda Kaiser is a incredibly effective and knowledgeable instructor in these fields. And then to follow up on these two series, or these two courses, will be the second advanced for each of them, advanced course design and advanced online teaching. Those start June 1st, and those are folks who already, have the basics down and want to sort of go to the next level, maybe receive some more, fine-tuned instruction or new tricks. So again, those are all available on the marketplace. They're in the section courses open for enrollment, and or you can search the marketplace for the term Oplerno, and they will come up in that group. So yep, that's all I got for those. You can email Lynda directly through the course pages if you have any questions, which a few folks have, which has been great. And Lynda's been great in getting back to inquirers. So do get in touch if you have questions.
Yeah, and of course we have, besides from the two fantastic classes by Lynda Kaiser who are starting today, we also have Principles of Geology, which is starting today. So if you're interested in that, go to the front page, and we'll also post all the links in the show notes so you can see them.
Great, Dan. Why don't you talk about the preloaded template?
Sure. So we had an instructor ask about loading in one of Canvas's built module-based templates into her course, and we've talked about this in the past, and we err on the side of being having faculty be autonomous, and we're pretty hands-off unless we are asked to help. But after discussion with this faculty member and revisiting what we had chatted about in the past, we are going to go ahead, and this is, if there are any dissenters, please do let us know, because we don't want to make this into a pain for anybody. But we are going to plan on preloading any courses from here on out with this module-based template. And essentially what it does is it gives you a head start in course organization. It has links that are already connected to different parts of the course through various buttons and just navigation tools. It has a little bit of branding. It just has our logo on the front page, just so people are familiar with where they are on their computer screen. Space for the faculty to introduce themselves. Various types of discussions for, again, introductions or weekly discussion groups. And so I've modified the Canvas template to be one that's more suitable to our needs. And again, if you can, this is an open conversation. If folks think it's a horrible idea, we do want to know. And you can always delete it. Like, you can change it however you want once you log into your course. We won't be retroactively applying it, because that would erase any building you've already done. But we could, if you are interested, make a new version of your class for you with this template, and you could migrate content in. Yeah, again, I know it's a shift, and it's something maybe we could have done out of the gate, but we want to always err on the side of giving faculty the opportunity to create exactly what they want. And after understanding what kind of support faculty have needed, what kind of questions we've been asked, it almost makes sense to sort of give your courses a head start in this way, and kind of hit the ground running. And again, we can always modify, delete, give you a new class. It's the beauty of Canvas is there's infinite space to have sandbox class building or switching gears and deleting an old one. Whatever it is, we can do it. So any folks who are proposing a new class, you can expect to see a Canvas template preloaded, and of course, if you don't want it, do let us know, and we can just set it up for you blank.
Great. Now let's talk about the last thing on the agenda, which is one of the most important things, which is the email server. So Daniel, can you talk about that?
Yeah. So I spent last week, or sorry, some time ago, we decided that we were having a number of issues with GoDaddy from the administrative side, and also from the integration side with what we're doing with the marketplace and Canvas by Instructure. So we decided that we wanted to migrate to a different mail system, which is what we're going to do now. We're going to, well, not now this moment, but we're going to do look at it this week. We're going to be putting over all the email addresses into a different system. Most likely we won't be migrating the actual email that you've been sent. So if you have any email that you've been sent that you want to keep, you should make sure that you download these, or that you get these out of GoDaddy and into somewhere where you can keep them. For the changes, we're going to basically the changes are going to be that your email address and your password for the marketplace are going to be your email address and password for your email. So you don't have a different email address and password. You can change if you need to change your password, you just change your marketplace password, and it's all changed. What's also going to be so that's going to make the administration for yourself simpler, for you guys simpler. What's going to change is that we're no longer going to have clear text communications with our mail server, which means that if you want to log in, your clients, most clients support SSL. So we're going to have an encrypted connection, so that everything that you send to and from our mail server, your passwords, your email addresses, that's all securely stored. So any of your communications that you have with your fellow Oplerno instructors or with us will all be unreadable for the rest of the world. So it's only going to be readable by the people who are supposed to read it, which we find very important, of course. I think besides from that, there are not going to be very many other things. Of course, if you have any issues during the migration, please contact me at crompton@oplerno.com, or send an email to info or to questions. Oh yeah, and most importantly, Dan just said for the moment we're not going to have webmail. If there's a lot of questions from people who would like to have webmail, please contact me. But I think that I don't think that most people actually use webmail. At least for the statistics didn't show that many people use the GoDaddy webmail, so I don't think that it'd be necessary for the moment. But of course, if you need it, then tell me, and we'll hook it up.
So that just means for those who are need an explanation of the terms. You'll have to use a client like either Outlook, Apple Mail, Thunderbird, Gmail, Hotmail, whatever. You won't be able to go to a URL on the web and log in to your email via a screen on your browser. So you'll have to use a program of sorts or another service to access your Oplerno mail, which, like Daniel said, seems like almost everyone's already doing, and most people prefer it. And if you're not doing it, you might actually, it's worth giving a shot because it's just better typically. So that's just what that means. And we'll put that in an email. We're going to send out one more reminder this week, and then when we do the migration, we will, send out that final warning just to make sure everyone's had their chance to migrate any messages they might want to keep.
Yeah, most importantly, of course, with any webmail implementation that we were to do, we would never be able to get to the same type of user level or the user experience level that many of the other companies have been working on for, I don't know, 10 years or something like that, or 5 years. So it would always, what we could offer would always be worse than for the webmail side than the current client that you're using for yourself.
Okay, I think that's about it. Thanks, Daniel, for doing that, because that's going to make, again, a lot of work to make something simple happen. Well, to make something incredibly complex happen that's relatively simple for the user to use, which is really, really important. So thank you all for attending the team meeting. Remember to tune in next week, same time, same channel, and we'll have a whole bunch of more updates and news for you then. See you online.
See you online.
See you online.